For exclusive podcasts and more, sign up at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
This week's Law & Order Marathon winner is Diane Summers of Pine Meadow, Connecticut. Diane will get a marathon decal showing she watched 26.2 hours of her favorite crime show. To be next week's winner, sign up at lawandorderpodcast.com.
I'm Kevin Flynn with Rebecca Lavoie and Ronald Young Jr. And these are their stories.
You think you know who did it, but you don't know who did it. Law and order, law and order, law and order. It's no ordinary police procedural, baby. It's the FNOG of police procedurals, baby. Law and order, law and order, law and order, law and order. These are their stories, these are their stories.
Welcome to These Are Their Stories, the podcast about network TV's most enduring crime franchise and the real-life cases that inspired their shows. I'm Kevin Flynn. Each podcast will break down an episode from either Criminal Intent, SVU, or Original Recipe, and today we're looking at Special Victims Unit, Season 13, Episode 10, Spiraling Down.
How many concussions did this guy get?
No, I knew when he stepped off the elevator, he's not all there.
All right, so he's a little punch drunk. It doesn't excuse what he did.
Joining me to do just that is true crime author and the host of Crime Writers On and Netflix's You Can't Make This Up podcast. It's Rebecca Lavoie. Hello, Rebecca.
Thanks for having me back, Kevin.
And rounding out the panel is our special guest from the Wait For It podcast. It's Ronald Young Jr. Ronald, thank you for coming back.
Hey, thanks for having me. And as you were saying the title of the episode, I just realized that it's been a pun this whole time, and incredible.
A football pun.
Yes, I just got that.
Was it the way I delivered the line?
Well, you said spiraling down, and I was like, oh.
Do you have any idea why, other than the football pun, do you have any idea why the title is Spiraling Down?
Ooh, okay, now I feel like maybe I did not get it.
Okay, it's because it's season 13. Mm-hmm. And all the episodes in season 13, the titles have to have 13 letters.
Really?
And then season 14, it's 14 letters.
Oh, are you serious?
I'm serious.
That's real commitment. Yes, that's real commitment. What was season 1? How many letters is season 1?
Well, they started in season 13. It was like Warren Light came in and he said, okay, look, we don't have Stabler to fuck with anymore.
Yeah.
So here's the mental exercise. And they stopped season 19 or something. It got ridiculous. And then they brought it back for season 22, which is why they have 18 Wheels of Predator, these crazy long names.
18 Wheels of Predator, yes.
But Ronald, congratulations on season 1 of Wait For It.
Thank you so much.
It was one of them, right? So season 2 is coming out September 5th. Can you tell us about all those awards that you've received and whether we were thanked in any of those acceptance speeches?
I am fairly certain I thanked you in every single acceptance speech.
That's bullshit. I saw stuff. I saw it on social media. We're not a thought.
Why? If you already knew the answer, why did you give me a chance to lie?
Because I'm giving you a chance to lie.
This is such a parent move. It's like, oh, I already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just to see how you respond.
Did you take the recycling out?
Now I'm going to check the Ring camera and make sure.
But congratulations, 3 Ambie Awards.
Thank
and
you.
What was the film festival? Was it one we've heard of?
There was Tribeca. That was the Tribeca was the opening, and I think we talked about that. So Tribeca, then we got on a bunch of lists. We got on the New York Times list. We were on Vogue. We were in Vulture. And then, we got the Ambies. We got 3 of those. And I just submitted for the Signal Awards. So I don't know. I always feel like that's so off season. So I don't know what's going to happen with those.
Their entry period is what's the entry period for that? It came out in the last 3 years.
Way
Yeah.
too long. I'm like, I think the statue looks cool though. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how many times can y'all keep extending this?
Well, congratulations to how much we respect you and we love you and
forever and ever.
Yeah, it's really well deserved.
Wait, well, let me just say one thing real quick, and I really make sure you keep this in the cut. Y'all were the first to believe in me. Years ago, back in 2020, I dry emailed y'all and just said, hey, I talk about pop culture, and y'all said yes on a whim long before a lot of other people did. So I love y'all and I thank y'all for that. And that's why the answer is always yes, no matter what y'all want to do, no matter what happens from here to when I die. The answer is always yes, because y'all were first. So.
Wait, can I add something to that?
Sure.
I just want to say, and keep this in, After we met you.
You guys have a lot of demands for the editor.
Every single person I met in the industry, every single conference, at every single thing, I said, you need to meet Ronald Young Jr. He is going to be a fucking star. And here we are. Right, Kevin? Did I not do that?
You did. And now it's time for Ronald to start telling all those important people about us.
I got you.
You had a live show that was planned for August, but it's going to be now in November. Tell us about the Wait For It Live. What are we going to see and hear?
We talked earlier this year to Elna Baker, who did the Tell Me I'm Fat episode of This American Life. So we're trying to structure our interview episodes so that they really present a little bit of a narrative, but still unfold in a lot of ways the same way interview episodes do. So that's what we do when we're doing it live. So we have one live show planned in November in Washington, D.C., and we're tentatively planning a second live show also in November in Boston, which we're also excited about. So we'll be doing that with WBUR.
Boston is near us.
Yeah.
To it will call, please. To it will call. All right, now let's take a look at the first half of this episode. Special Victims Unit, Season 13, Episode 10, Spiraling Down. Well, it's a familiar tale of woe as 14-year-old Vicki Harris steps off a bus in New York City, only to be swept off her feet by a lovely man who wines and dines her, then forces her into prostitution. After a beating, Vicki calls her dad from a blocked phone but is cut off. Jason Harris served in Iraq with Amaro's wife, so he approaches Nick for help.
You have to find my daughter.
My wife sent you to the right place.
I come back from Iraq last week. My ex tells me Vicki was on a school trip.
Does your daughter know anyone in New York? Maybe a boyfriend?
We Skyped, she never mentioned one.
The squad finds the teen at a hotel, and Amaro proposes using Vicki as bait and is staying to arrest more Johns. Among those Finn and Rollins arrest is former star quarterback Jack Stanton. The wife of the aging football player tells Benson all those years of concussions has left him with dementia-like symptoms. No sooner is Stanton released than he exposes himself to a woman in a cafe ladies' room. Olivia secretly gives Stanton's wife the business card for high-profile attorney Bayard Ellis. Nick thinks Stanton's forgetfulness is all an act, but Ellis says if Cabot insists on prosecuting, they'll argue diminished capacity due to his football-related head injuries.
Check.
Okay, so when Vicki shows up wide-eyed in New York City and steps off the bus, Trey immediately hangs up his phone like he's just seen the girl of his dreams, and he goes chasing after her, and he saves her from this homeless man and romances her in a hotel room with his bed with satin sheets, and there's room service and strawberries and stuff, and he buys her a Tiffany necklace, and then he forces her into prostitution. Whatever happened to giving a girl a bag of smack and just being done with it?
Oh my God. This is one of the most racially problematic opens to any fucking... I'm sorry. The first quarter of this episode is the most racist fucking shit.
Yes.
You ain't catching nobody's eyes. You ain't catching nobody's wallet. How much?
Don't leave me like this.
We better take those off.
Can't go on.
Maybe we can work something out.
I don't...
Come on, girl. It's just Marcus.
If there's a spectrum of racism, this is definitely the top of the spectrum, and I would say that SVU constantly matches the top of the spectrum.
Don't go to New York.
No. Some black man's gonna lure you into a motel looking hotel. What was that? Where were they?
I don't know.
Well, the first hotel room was a corner room overlooking Times Square with satin sheets.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he pulls out a Tiffany necklace. Where the fuck did he get a Tiffany necklace
Tiffany's,
on that?
Kevin.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What was the passage of time?
Where did he have time to go do that?
Thank you. What was the passage of time? I had no idea
3 weeks.
What it was.
It's like 2-3 weeks, and they were
2 weeks. The whole thing between her showing up in New York and the cops getting her. 2 weeks.
It just shows
That's not enough time.
how bad black people are, Kevin.
Oh, okay.
I
I thought it showed how efficient they were because
I agree. We are efficient.
He already had. He said, "I've been waiting to give this to somebody." He's like, "Oh,
it's beautiful." Why are you being so nice to me? The guys at my school are jerks.
Yeah, punks don't know how to treat a lady. I'm gonna take care of you, Vicki.
Wait, is this what they mean by black jobs? Okay, so let's talk about
You're
this
stealing
for
all
a
of my
minute.
jokes.
and your jobs too."
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about this because This is what I meant. The visuals of this were insane. She gets off the bus and she's approached by a black, unhoused man who's supposed to be like the avatar of scary, right? Ooh.
Yeah.
And then she's saved by a, quote, clean-cut black man.
With a flip phone.
With a phone who's like, oh, come on, little lady, you seem nice. And it's like, oh, baby, it's great.
Yeah.
And then he ends up being even scarier.
Call her a Romeo pimp is what they call it.
Basically, the moral of this story is there are no good black men. Like, it doesn't matter what you look like. There's none of them. No good ones.
Not at the bus station, apparently.
I didn't like it. Even the way you pointed it out is definitely very like respectability in terms of this one being safe versus this one being unsafe. But also like just that setup alone, like her just gets off the bus in the big city of New York. You decided to run away. I'm like, I need more context because I just don't understand what was your plan after you got off the bus in New York? Like what was next? And I know you're 14, but like, honestly, if they would have given me some more character development on that, maybe it would have made sense to her. She goes up at her first two interactions with black people, ends up with her like, sex work, essentially. So I'm like, what are we talking about?
She had it coming. She should have seen it coming, right? No plan. Like, of course.
Where were you going with this, ma'am?
You know where she was going? She was bringing like a basket to grandmother's house.
Yeah,
what she was fucking doing.
And the big bad wolf was apparently
it's a Sondheim
there
scene,
and ready.
obviously. Yeah. Jeez.
This is a show that it doesn't show you anything. It implies a lot. But for a show that like is not even TVMA, sometimes I'm watching it, I'm just like, this is horrifying what I'm seeing. I'm horrified by this.
And you're going to see it at 1 o'clock on a Saturday on USA.
Correct. The kids are going to be in the room, and I'm just, we got to change this, y'all. Like, this is...
So Vicky's father shows up at the squad saying, hey, I don't know what to do. She called. I got cut off. I don't know where she is. They're like, okay, well, hold on. We got an idea. Let's call her back.
So I got the number that your daughter called from. It was a throwaway.
I'm going to call that number back. If Vicky picks up, we'll be able to trace her location.
Okay.
I didn't even think about that. Because the fact that they traced it that quickly, they're like, give me the phone. And then they triangulate. Like the fact that, like, that's always what gets me. They'll have like a map up there. That looked like Google Maps level accuracy. I'm just like, what? What is this technology?
He's within 50 feet of the corner of this or that. And they're like, okay, we're going to go. And Dad says, I'll go with you because I can identify her. Like, no, you stay here.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a good idea wanting to know what this person looks like.
Correct. Like, y'all don't even, like,
we'll
you got a
figure
picture? Apparently not.
14, kind of looks like you. Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got this.
Back. So they lay a trap for Trey. So when he returns, after they take Vicky away, they're going to wait for him to arrest him. And he walks in and he flicks on the lights. And there's Rollins waiting for him.
You got my 500?
No, how about some cuffs instead, baby?
No. I think you know something about spreading legs.
What the hell you doing?
How long did you sit in the dark? Just waiting for him to show, just sort of that dramatic Philip Marlowe type of.
Yeah. And it was like you sat in the dark that long just to give like a very tepid line. You know what I mean? And then again, Finn immediately bids the guy over, spreads his legs and says, I think you know something about spreading legs, which I'm like, again, Finn.
That's just some sweet wisdom from Finn.
It is.
Sweet wisdom from Finn.
It is. It's exactly what it is.
What do they do to convince Vicky to like turn on Trey? Because she thinks, oh, he's in love with me. So they've got to do something. So Finn does what most people do and goes to his Face Union page.
Oh my God. Face Union.
And there's a photo of him with his baby mama and his 2 children that was obviously taken at the Sears Portrait Center.
Yes.
They like pull the scrim down and they're like, okay, now you put your hands here, fold your arms. And now like, who puts that on their Face Union page?
It's wild. And then the part for me that got me was the fact that in her gentle victim voice, Liv says to Vicky,
So Trey didn't tell you about his baby mama.
And I'm like, there was no other way you could have said that. You could have said Trey didn't tell you about his wife. Like what?
Yeah.
Like why did you say it that way?
Trey didn't tell you about the other woman in his life who has children.
Like why are you code switching with this little white woman? Like I don't understand what that was.
I'm going to go ahead and use a super racist expression right now in my in my victim voice.
Correct. Like, I'm like, what was she's not from here. She doesn't know what you don't have to talk to her like that. What is this? She's a ninth grader.
How scared is NBC of Mark Zuckerberg? Okay.
Wow.
They use brand names all the fucking time on the show.
Yeah.
And they can't say Facebook, a thing that like 1 billion people use.
Yeah.
1 billion people.
It feels like it falls into that same category of Hudson University.
We are Hudson, where the bad guys go to school.
Kevin, you paid someone to do that? That's incredible. Wait, did you do that or did you pay someone to do that?
I did that.
That's
Yeah, I did that.
incredible. Oh my God.
I got a couple ready to go. All right.
Do the Hudson one again.
We are Hudson, where the bad guys go to school.
That's great. I love that.
All right, let's take a look at our cast.
It's our very special guest star,
Mr. Treat Williams. He's playing former quarterback Jack Stanton.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with me, all right? I'm not insane. I was an All-American.
All right, Jay.
Where's my wife? Let me just talk to my wife, all right? Georgia?
He broke out in the movie Hair and got a Golden Globe nomination for the movie Prince of the City, co-starring dirty cop Jerry Orbach. He was a fixture of dozens of films and TV movies like A Streetcar Named Desire, Once Upon a Time in America, Deep Rising, and the TV show Everwood. He also made an uncredited cameo appearance as a rebel trooper evacuating Echo Base on Hoth in The Empire Strikes Back.
Really?
Coward. Abandoning your post. Apparently went to visit Carrie Fisher, and he's like, I'd love to put, and they just threw him in the background.
Huh.
That's amazing.
Nice.
He died last year in a motorcycle accident in
Boo.
Vermont.
Aw.
The car that crossed the lane in front of him that he drove into was driven by one of his friends who happened to be the director of the local theater.
Oh.
And he personally called Treat's wife to tell her what happened.
Oh my God.
That's a difficult phone call to make.
I'm not making that call. Like get the authorities to make that.
Get the local Vermont cop to do it in a folksy way. Don't do
In a
that shit
folksy
yourself.
way?
Yeah.
I have a saying around here. Old friends are good friends. But
And the saying
I also
is,
have a saying, ride with a helmet. Yeah. It's,
Sometimes dead is better.
sometimes that is better. Folksy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mrs. Treat Williams. That was a Stephen King joke, and that was not appropriate.
He is a posthumous Emmy nominee for his role in Feud. So we'll see next month at the Emmy Awards if he wins.
Nice.
Okay.
Good for him.
Good luck to him. We've got a whole bunch of repeat offenders.
Yes.
Repeat offender.
There's the late, great Andre Braugher making his second appearance as defense attorney Bayard Ellis.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of things are confusing, Jake.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe things that once came easily to you seem overwhelming now.
I still can't believe he died.
I was tearing up because I y'all know my mom died earlier this year, and it was tough because I was watching Andre. Like, we love Andre Braugher. Like, as a family, we're like, we love him every time he shows up. So it was like
he's
tough
great.
to like,
He's great. Homicide.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's so
absolutely
like,
the best.
He's just an entertaining actor. Like, in everything he does, he's always entertaining. So as soon as I saw him, I started tearing up because I'm like, oh man. But I think the wonderful thing about it is like, we still get to kind of hold Andre Braugher in all of the work that he has such a big body of work, so we can like hold him close to us and watch him. So it was like kind of seeing an old friend in this one. So I really liked that.
Probably the biggest imbalance of talent ever on the screen was Andre Braugher in the SVU, where he was working with Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Oh my God.
At Mike Tyson's range, not quite the same.
Limited.
We have another repeat offender.
Another repeat offender.
Stephanie March is back in one of her final appearances as Alex Cabot.
In terrible glasses.
You want justice for her, you want compassion for him. You can't have it both ways, Olivia. The world doesn't work that way.
We're seeing for the first time Broadway great Laura Benanti as Amaro's wife, Maria.
Wait a minute. Zara's reading?
Linda Edmond is back as Dr. Emily Sofer.
In cases of CTE, there is often damage to the frontal lobe.
And the ultimate hey, it's that guy is the late Ned Eisenberg as defense attorney Roger Kressler.
All right. What do you want?
But we do have a couple of hey, it's that guys.
Hey, it's that guy.
Do you recognize who's playing Trey, the Romeo pimp?
I do not. And I hope I never see him again.
What the hell's going on, Vic?
Please, I don't want to do this anymore.
I got guys lined up, girl.
Well, that's John Michael Hill. For 7 seasons, he played Detective Marcus Bell, who worked with Sherlock Holmes in CBS's Elementary.
Oh, never watched that.
No thanks.
He says his most embarrassing moment on the stage was doing Shakespeare in the Park, playing Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream. He had to sing a song, and his entrance, he hit the first note so perfectly, it surprised him, and he forgot the rest of the lyrics. And that is why I protect myself by not trying to achieve greatness. Mediocrity is safe.
Huh.
I mean, he was pretty mediocre in this, so I think he achieved his dream.
Can you name the actor playing Jason Harris, Vicky's father?
No, you mean the guy Amaro was a dick to?
Yeah.
Nick Amaro.
Hey, can I help you?
My daughter, Vicky, she's in trouble. I should have called. I drove from Philly.
I'm sorry. Do I know you, Mr.?
Captain Jason Harris. I was deployed in Baghdad with your wife.
That's Dominic Fumas. He was right in the middle of his 7 seasons as Edie Falco's ex-husband Kevin on Nurse Jackie.
Yes.
He also played real-life mercenary and self-proclaimed proud American Christian nationalist Tig Tegan in the Benghazi movie 13 Hours.
Oh.
Ooh, I actually do remember that. I remembered his face. I do remember that because both Jim and Roy are in that from The Office, which is the only reason why I watched that movie. I was like, they're in one together? That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Rebecca, in case you haven't seen it, the Christian nationalist is the hero. So that gives you any kind of indication about that one. Thanks, Obama. Anyway, it's about Benghazi. We have a Hey, It's That Girl.
Hey, it's that girl.
Who's playing trial judge Linda Maskin?
Don't preach to me, Mr. Ellis. Preach to your client. It's his plea.
That's Tanya Patano. She was Helena James, Mary Louise Parker's marijuana supplier in the Showtime show Weeds.
I do remember her.
That was back when it was very illegal.
Yeah, I remember looking at her face and being like, you weren't a judge. You're a bad guy. And that actually makes sense.
Can you tell me the name of the actress playing Jake's wife, Georgia?
We can't travel anymore. Last time, I found him in a hotel hallway, naked. He'd locked himself out.
Literally the only one I know.
All right, Rebecca, do it.
That's Beth Chamberlain from Guiding Light.
Yeah, 20 years on The Guiding Light. She also played Lorelai, Beth's dissociative identity disorder personality.
Yeah. She played also her main character on Guiding Light was named Beth.
Yeah, it's like Tony Danza and Who's the Boss?
Yeah.
It's got to be Tony.
Yeah.
It was like Beth playing Beth. She's an
Beth.
iconic soap actor. She's like one of those actors you can't believe she wasn't like on so many more soaps because she was so good.
Did you know it's actually pronounced Isonic? A lot of people don't know that. You're welcome.
Wait, is that one of those words that you didn't know how to pronounce because you had only read it and then you said it out loud in front of people and they corrected you?
Oh my God, no. But that would be how embarrassing. Like, that's very Isonic. They'd be like, what did you say, you idiot? You absolute idiot.
So in 2010, Beth received a supporting actress nomination from the Daytime Emmys, which we can all agree are the Temu Emmys.
Hey, now.
Yes.
Beth attributes hard work for her ability to overcome epilepsy. So I knew that the rest of them were just faking this whole time. Lazy epileptics.
Lazy epileptics.
Yeah.
Did you recognize the actress playing the woman who got exposed in the cafe ladies' room?
I did not.
That he exposed himself to?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
He followed me into the ladies' room and took it out. I screamed.
What did he do?
He just stood there.
That's Mary Lane Haskell. She is a member of the DPCU, the Dolly Parton Cinematic Universe.
Ooh, say more about that.
Well, she played Dolly's third grade teacher, Miss Moody, in Dolly Parton's Coat of Many Colors.
Oh!
Dolly Parton's Christmas of Many Colors. Dolly Parton's Magic Mountain Christmas, and other roles in Dolly Parton's Heartstrings and Christmas on the Square.
I watched that.
Proving it's Dolly Parton's world, we're just living in it.
I watched Coat of Many Colors.
I would watch all of those accidentally, not on purpose. Like, if it was on, I wouldn't turn it off, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you think in the Dolly Parton cinematic universe, they have like hidden Easter egg scenes in the closing credits like in Marvel?
Oh, absolutely. How else is she going to arrange the team of partners? partner. How is she going to arrange this? Assemble the team of help me, y'all. How's she going to
partners?
Arrange this? Yeah.
Partners?
The partners?
Yeah, help
Partners.
me. You guys watch me drown on that.
Oh, we're letting you do it.
You're like,
The
yeah, go ahead, Ronald. What is it?
You wanted to talk. You could have just sat there and nodded and let me do my fucking jokes. But no, you wanted to be part of the show. So go ahead.
I thought this was group participation. It was just like, yeah, Ronald, enjoy your joke. Yeah, go ahead. Do it.
Go ahead. Tell me more about Dolly Parton.
So the young actor who played
10-6. Yeah.
The young actor who played Faith on The Young and the Restless played young Dolly Parton in The Coat of Many Colors. And you know how I know that? Because I freaking watched The Coat of Many Colors.
Jesus Christ.
That's right. I am a Dolly Parton universe
Is this
fan.
different from Technicolor Dreamcoat? That's a different
thing,
Yes.
that's
right? Okay.
that's Joseph.
These are heartwarming movies.
That's from the Bible, man.
Yeah, but Coat of Many Colors sounds like it's also from the Bible,
Oh, yeah.
Kevin.
No.
Yeah.
What
It does. You're
It is
right.
a heartwarming movie in which we go back in a heartwarming, cozy way to the shack in which Dolly Parton grew up in the mountains of Tennessee. And the Coat of Many Colors is the coat that she got for Christmas as a heartwarming gift because her family was so poor.
Made it from different scraps of cloth.
You got it.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
That's it.
The Coat of Many Colors.
That's probably what happened to Joseph too, to be honest. But I mean, she had 12 kids.
Back in Pigeon Hollow.
That's actually what happened with Iron Man. So they put all the stuff together. I can see these cinematic universes combining.
It's true.
So who's playing young Vicky Harris?
Who are you? Cops?
I'm friends of your dad, Jason. He wants you to come home.
No, I told him I was fine. You guys need to leave now.
She's been in other stuff.
She has.
I
but
recognize
don't
that
know
little
her.
whore's
Yeah.
face.
Nope, I didn't say that.
That's Kay Panabaker. She's the sister of Danielle Panabaker, who played supervillain Killer Frost for 9 seasons on The Flash alongside Jesse L. Martin.
Whoa, wait.
What?
The Flash was on for 9
seasons.
Yo, the Arrowverse is out of control.
Yeah, fuck you, Dolly Parton. How about the Arrowverse?
Yeah, you want to talk about a cinematic universe? The Arrowverse.
Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Out of control. I can't even. Someone once told me, hey, it's really good. You should check it out. I was like, I would, but there are 900 episodes and I don't have time. I won't do it. Recap it for me right now.
Kay graduated from high school at age 13, went to UCLA, and graduated with a degree in arts and history at 17. Today, she is now a zoologist at the petting zoo at Walt Disney World.
Amazing.
Yeah. Her job is to answer how Pluto and Goofy are both dogs.
Hey, now, you know that's not right because we went to the thing. But when did she have time to be a whore between all that stuff? That was my real question.
She can multitask, honestly.
You know, a lot of people have only read the University of California, Los Angeles on paper, so they don't know that it's pronounced UCLA.
UCLA, okay.
So to hedge their bet, they just say UCLA.
Graduated from UCLA.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
who's telling the jokes now, Kevin? I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
So lastly, can you tell me who is playing the role of Jerry Rice?
In the huddle, I say, Jake, you're bleeding. He rubs some dirt in his nose, says, is that better?
Jerry Rice. It was Jerry Rice.
That's right, Jerry Rice, best known for his second place finish in season 2 of Dancing with the Stars. Who will ever forget his rumba to Unbreak My Heart? Jerry is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. He has the record for the most records in NFL history. He had once been considered the greatest football player of all time. That is until Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls. But Rice went on television to call Tom Brady a cheater for using 5 of 11 footballs that were 2 PSI below the minimum equipment requirement. And then he had to be wheeled out of the studio because he had so much stickum on him he couldn't get out of the chair.
Oh, hey now.
I say don't throw stones, but it stuck to his fucking hands.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So Jack Stanton says that during his football career, he broke his nose. How is that possible inside a helmet? He broke his nose?
Didn't they say he broke his nose? They said he broke something else. He got a concussion maybe and broke his nose in that game. And no, his ankle. Whatever. The point is they said he played through it, which I was like, yuck.
He rubbed some dirt on his nose.
Yuck.
What the hell? Is stuff him in the mud? What was this, like the 1950s Giants or something?
They put moss up it.
Masculinity is a trap.
So as a clue that there might be something wrong with his memory, when Rollins brings him back to the interrogation room, Stanton finds a message left in his wallet by Georgia.
I'm supposed to call my wife. Got me on a short leash. I know what she's gonna say.
What's that?
Same thing she always says. Get a lawyer.
It says, call home. What it doesn't say is the phone number. You just spent a whole time looking at it like,
Not why. Not why to call home.
Nope.
Not why to call. He knows.
It's like the least effective medical alert bracelet you've ever seen.
We could add more context by saying maybe it had other things on it, but he lost it and she has to get his wallet all the time and was tired of rewriting it over and over again. So just wrote on it, call home. I don't have time for all this. Like, just call home. You know where home is.
So no sooner is he sprung than he gets arrested again for exposing himself in a ladies' room.
Yeah. These damn bathroom signs these days trying to be clever. I mean, you got these little pictures on the doors. You can't tell.
I'm calling our lawyer.
And he says he got confused because the signs were too cute to understand. And I tell you, I believe that. Like, this one's for caballeros. I don't know.
What an
It's just
alibi.
a guy with his legs crossed.
Yeah, what does this even mean? Just because he's wearing a sombrero doesn't mean it's a man.
That's right. Ah, damn it. They're really not buying it because they say, look, you didn't know it was a ladies' room, but you followed a woman in. And he said, well, of course. Who else am I going to show it to? So Finn arrested him the first time, and Stanton thinks that was Amaro because he says, oh, yeah.
I told you that when you arrested me.
Me?
Yeah, you remember?
But you mean Detective Tutuola?
Yeah, you guys look a lot alike. Yeah.
You guys look alike.
I loved that. I'm like, okay, so but the weird part, okay, so here's the thing though. Like,
I mean, to be fair,
yes, that's where I was going. That's exactly where I was going. Like, he is a fair-skinned black man. Like, the very light-skinned guy. So when he's like, y'all kind of look alike, I know, but the whole thing is like, if he had said it to Andre Braugher, then it'd be like, come on. Like, it has a lot more heft in that joke, but like two brown people looking similar, I'm like, that's not really that far of a stretch for this particular white dude. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to remember that Finn had been Indian, and then he became black.
That's true. He made a choice.
He made the choice.
Yeah.
He just picked a day.
He had been Indian this whole time.
We're not sure when.
Went to Howard as an Indian. And
we're not sure when.
Chose to be black. We don't know. We don't know when.
So Olivia slips Mrs. Stanton a business card with the name of a lawyer that we later find out is Bayard Ellis.
He's a friend.
Benson is kind of like, don't let anyone know. I could lose my badge if they find out I help someone. Get a lawyer. We can't have that in this office.
I help someone assert their constitutional rights.
Yeah, but like if he had asked for a lawyer, they would have given him one.
It's true.
That's exactly what they would have done.
That's right.
But it can't be a good lawyer, Kevin. It has to be an inferior lawyer. At some point, we're talking so much about Jake Stanton that we completely forget about Vicky. Somewhere through the second half of this. Yeah, exactly. Like, the 14-year-old? Yeah, like, we're not going to talk about her
The
anymore?
whore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's the main part of that story.
Now let's look at the second half of this episode. Benson tells Ellis that she went out of her way to help a suspect because he clearly is having some mental health issues.
I watched my father die of Parkinson's. I know diminished capacity when I see it.
This one is on me. I pushed to have the girls Johnson indicted. And now I'm not sure that Jake can be held accountable for his actions.
I'm pretty sure he had no idea of her age, but we both know that's no defense.
You'll think of something.
Ellis changes his client's plea to not guilty by reason of insanity. Stanton agrees to let Ellis be his coach, calling the plays, and he'll be the quarterback, moving the ball downfield. An expert says Stanton is displaying signs of CTE and isn't aware of his actions. But under cross from Cabot, admits the only way that can be determined is through an autopsy on his brain. Ellis, who waits until the end of the day when Stanton's symptoms would be worse, grills his client about the length of his marriage and the names of his former teammates to show his diminished capacity. After being humiliated by his own lawyer, The jury finds Stanton not guilty. During a press conference on the courthouse steps, Stanton becomes disoriented and steals a patrolman's gun and threatens to shoot himself in the head. Benson and Amaro convince him to lower the gun, which he does, but then he shoots himself in the chest, preserving his brain to be examined at autopsy. All right, so we hear that Jason Harris went to Amaro because he served in Iraq with his wife, Maria, and later they're having a Skype call. How quaint, a Skype call.
It always says Skype.
It says Skype, yes. We got
always does.
Not afraid of Skype. Not afraid of Facebook.
On Skype, yeah.
Not FaceTime. Yeah, Skype's cool. Promotional consideration paid for by Skype. But on this call, Amaro cannot not with the skibbity riz. He's forever jealous of Maria.
I fucking hate Amaro. This is why.
I'm glad you could help him out. That means a lot to me.
I never heard of this guy till he showed up in the squad room.
I hate when you do this.
What's that?
I think we're having a conversation. Turns out you're interrogating me.
I thought he brought up, for me, and maybe this is bad writing, okay? I'm not saying I love Amaro, but there was a presentation in which she was like, yeah, I sent him your direction. I'm like, because the way they dropped it, just hear me out. The way they dropped it, they were like, Mom said that Dad is probably seeing somebody while he was overseas. And I'm like, well, the reason why they would give me that information is if Nick's wife was the person that he was seeing. So I thought the way that they framed it, that they were trying to give Nick justification for asking that question. But I think you're absolutely right, Rebecca. If we're just painting him as like a jealous person, then that wouldn't make sense. But I felt like writing wise, they set it up for it to be like, oh, this is because even the way she was reacting was very much like, oh man, what happened to this guy? Oh my God. Like, why do you care so much about this guy? What's going on here?
They're comrades in arms.
In each other's arms.
Shut up. Yeah. So here's the thing. He went to Amaro and said, you are very lucky.
Yeah.
Your wife is like a good one, right?
Yeah. That's a weird thing to say, though, about somebody's wife.
No, it's not a weird thing to say about your fellow fucking soldier. Take gender dynamics out of it, okay? They're serving together in like Iraq or Afghanistan or whatever. They're like fellow military people. Amaro's mind immediately goes to, she must be fucking this guy. Amaro has a problem.
I'm not saying he doesn't have a problem. All I'm saying is
Maria's been fucking him, so you know her standards are low.
If Maria were actually fucking this guy, she wouldn't be like, how is he doing? Is he okay? She'd be asking him, how are you doing? Are you okay? Like, she would not be asking her husband.
What you're saying is true. All I'm saying is, in that moment, they planted enough seeds that when he asked the question, I was like, well, they did say he's boning somebody overseas.
Who said that?
They said they said it in the episode. She said, Mom said that you're over there boning someone. He was like, what?
I just hate Amaro.
We've established that Vicky has no plan.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So, I hate Amaro.
I did say that.
So Ellis's strategy is to demonstrate Stanton's diminished capacity by hitting him with all these questions and watch him eventually fumble over them.
You ever get hurt when you were playing football?
I was taken out of games, concussions, broken this or that. That's all part of playing the position.
What were the 3 things I just asked you about?
What things?
I just asked you 3 questions. Do you remember them?
I said, shit, I can't remember the last 3 questions you asked him. How many people in America are like, fuck, maybe I had concussions. Do I have CTE?
Do I too have CTE?
Did I sleep with an underage prostitute last week?
Well, as soon as he said, what were the last 3 questions? I remember I caught myself real quick. I was like, ooh, I don't know. But it's not about me. It's about him. But I remember that scene between the 2 of them. I remember thinking, like, this is Emmy quality act. I'm not being sarcastic.
No,
between the
great.
2 of them, both Andre Braugher and Treat Williams, I'm like, these 2 are acting right now. They're doing a brilliant job, like both of them.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this, if you notice this is like one of the few times where we see scenes that none of the major players are in.
Yes.
None of the cast members in. There are scenes that are just Andre Braugher and Treat Williams and his wife.
Yeah.
Right? So they're like, we need to focus on these scenes here.
Yeah.
Like they're big enough that they can fill the frame.
Yeah.
You know, figuratively and literally. So later when he's on the stand, Jake says, like, I never had sex with her.
I told you, I never paid for sex with that woman.
What woman?
I never had sex with her.
And then points into the audience all the way past his wife directly at Benson.
Yeah.
Who seems not the least bit surprised.
She's like, well, I didn't have sex with him either, so what he's saying is true, in fact.
What you'd think she'd do is at least turn to somebody and say, no, that's not, no, that's not
Or
true.
turn around and look behind her.
Well, what's she supposed to say? He said I didn't have sex with her. It is true. And so, like, if I'm Olivia, it's like, I mean, what do you can't be that shocked. He's like, he's telling the truth. I don't know what to tell y'all.
I mean, if he pointed at me, I'd be like, well, I don't have sex with her.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I wasn't even in the frame for this. I'm not 14.
So the judge and jury say, you are not guilty because your condition makes you an uncontrollable sexual predator. You're free to go.
That was wild. That was
All right.
wild. That's how you know she sells weed on the side, that judge. Like, that's how you know. But no, that was, as soon as she said you're free to go, like when he turns to his wife and says, oh, so I didn't do it, and she gave him the look.
So I didn't do it? I'm sorry, George. I'm so sorry.
There was this realization that does not happen with a person who is losing their short-term memory and long-term, but there's a realization that washes over him that would not have retained enough for what happens in the next scene to actually happen, which was kind of wild to me. That it was good acting, but it just was unrealistic in terms of, like, when it comes to dementia.
So proving nothing good ever happens on the courthouse steps.
Nope.
Yeah.
Stanton is answering questions from the press, and then he gets disoriented. And then the worst thing in the world happens. A cop asks for a selfie.
Hey, Jake, quick picture. Thanks, man.
And fortunately for Stanton, this is a left-handed cop.
Yeah.
So he can pull the gun out of the holster. And that's when everyone in the press corps scatters, and they all miss the story.
Yeah. Wow. Not one person standing there with their cell phone.
The editor's like, did you get any video of him, like, with the gun? No, I was running the other way. Was he, like, pointing the gun at you? No, just himself. Pointed at his head, but I got the fuck out of there. It's like, you have a telephoto lens, too, you know that?
It was really important for me to take cover and protect myself. I didn't know who he's going to after he shot himself, I didn't know who he was going to shoot next.
Yes.
So Stanton, like, takes the gun, he puts it to his temple. But like many suicidal football players have done, he ends up shooting himself in the chest to preserve his brain so his brain can be studied. But I will say, that looked like a pretty survivable wound to the chest. And nobody bothered to take a pulse.
In like a different kind of SVU episode, it would have been like, well, at least he shot himself in the chest.
Correct.
So we can now examine his brain.
Yeah, correct.
But they didn't do that little bit of exposition. So we didn't get that. No.
And Kevin, you're right. They not only did not check his pulse, Olivia immediately went to cover his face. And I'm like, you did not even confirm that he was dead. Like, it's like, stop doing what y'all are doing.
She went like this with his eyes.
Yeah,
She put some quarters on the lids.
Yeah. Like, this dude's out of here, guys. Sorry.
Would you take that nice coat, get it all bloody?
No, absolutely not. To be like,
no,
we're on the courthouse steps. There's a corner around here somewhere.
She went by with the incense thingy.
Yeah. She brought in pallbearers. She had a casket ready to go.
Just called Warner, said, come on down. I got a warm one for you.
Started digging a hole immediately.
No one yelled, call a bus, nothing.
We gotta get this guy out of here.
He had another note in his wallet. It said, call ambulance. All right, let's take a look at the real-life story that inspired this episode. It's time for Rip from the Headlines.
You think you know who did it. You think you know who did it. But you don't know who did it. You don't know who did it. Rip from the Headlines.
This episode is inspired by the 2010 arrest of Pro Football Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor. The linebacker was drafted in 1981 by the New York Giants. His speed and size, combined with a reckless abandon to improvise plays, set him apart. Over his 13-year career, LT changed the way offenses block and the way defenses attack rushers and the quarterback. But Taylor's life off the field was also chaotic. He began spending thousands of dollars a day on cocaine and women. In 2000, Taylor was sentenced to house arrest for tax evasion and paid a hefty fine in 2009 for manipulating the stock price of his video game company. In 2010, Taylor was charged with paying a 16-year-old girl $300 to have sex with him at a Holiday Inn. The girl said her pimp ordered her to tell Taylor she was 19. The ex-football star pleaded guilty to several misdemeanor charges and was sentenced to 6-year probation. He also had to register as a level 1 sex offender. Though he made millions of dollars a year in the NFL, today, Lawrence Taylor's net worth is estimated to be around $200,000.
All right, let's talk first about the topic of CTE in football. Is the world really serious about addressing this when we're watching the NFL and record numbers? Ronald, what do you think?
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Like, there was a period of time in which I'd watched Concussion and then the kneeling thing happened. And I was just like, I don't know how much I could be a part of this anymore. And there was probably like a 3 to 4 year period where I was just like, I got to chill out on this. And then what changed my mind was talking to football players themselves who keep like voluntarily signing up to do this for whatever reasons. And I was just like, I realized like watching it, I'm like, I don't know how much I'm contributing as an individual. It started to feel like recycling to me, where I'm like, they've convinced me that Ronald not recycling his cans is the reason why the planet's going to die. So they're trying to put the onus on me. But I was like, the onus isn't on me. The onus is on the NFL. They need to fix this.
Right.
And we could keep putting that pressure on them.
Yeah, Rebecca, isn't it that the brutality is the feature, not the bug, right? There's no way to play tackle football without hard contact.
Yeah, but you know what's weird? Like, I've been watching the Chiefs practice, like TikToks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At their practices, they wear those
giant
brain helmets.
Scrum helmets, yeah.
With all those foamy things. And I'm like, why aren't you wearing those during the games,
Just play more
guys?
football, yeah.
Like, just wear those ones that don't, like, keep you from dying, like... All that's because I don't look cool. Like, why aren't they wearing the things that could save their lives? And I honestly think that the feature, not the bug, and part of the feature is the tough look, the tough sound.
Yep.
And I know the helmet design and everything has improved, but like clearly technology exists to keep players safe, and they use that technology when they're not in a game situation. And for some reason, like for those 2-3 hours on Sunday, Thursday, Monday, like they're not using it, and that's for us.
Yeah.
And the NFL is super fucked up. Like, they set up this gladiatorial arena for us.
Yeah.
When they don't have to. It's so weird. I don't understand.
I go back and forth too, though, because I'm like, part of it is like they make so much money. Like, so because like I'll just tell y'all my sports theory. So I am a fair weather fan. Like, I'm a person that if my team is not winning, I'm not interested in what they're doing. And I think that all of the public should be fair weather fans for that same reason, because they're paid hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars to play whatever the sport. And it turns out this team's not winning. Then why are we watching them? Why are we air quote supporting them when we're not getting into that money? So it feels like, especially when it comes to football, knowing that the risk is that high and you could play something else. And the odds of getting like your mom out of the hood are very low. Like, very few people get their mother out of the hood playing football. And like, this bill of goods is sold to them that at some point they have to sign and accept themselves, which I'm just like, I know the onus is not fully on the player, but like part of it is just like, bro, you have enough information now to say, don't play football. You should not be playing this if you're out there, which feels... And I feel like that's the conflict I have to say, like, at some point, do I just boycott it completely, tell everyone to stop watching it? Or do I say, hey, man, there's this thing called tennis, and you'd be great at it. Have you ever thought maybe you just go play some tennis? You'd be really good at it. You're just as
and the
fast.
pay is way better.
Way better. Way better. And you can play for much longer.
Yeah.
So Lawrence Taylor, he admitted to doing cocaine in his rookie year of football. His wife had to pick him up from a crack house one time and take him to practice. And one time he showed up to practice in handcuffs, not because he'd been arrested, but because the girl he was with lost the key.
Is that real?
That's real. Those are all real things that happen.
Wow.
Amazing. And people thought Dennis Rodman was a bad boy just because he like hung out in Vegas between practices and his coach didn't even care.
No.
That's amazing.
So this is one way to get arrested if you're Lawrence Taylor. Drive drunk, hit a police car, and then drive into a motorhome. But I will say that motorhome had more mobility than Joe Theismann did.
Oh. It was LT, right?
Compound fractures, man, are funny, right?
Well played.
So Taylor was arrested just 3 weeks ago for failing to update his address on the sex offender registry in Florida. Because that's all he's still, since this prostitution arrest, he has to do that. And Taylor has recently been out on the presidential campaign trail.
For who?
I won't say which candidate he has been supporting, but that person does have 4 more bankruptcies than Lawrence Taylor has. So.
Come on, LT.
That's going to do it for us. Want to thank our guest, Ronald Young Jr. Ronald, where can our listeners follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Threads. I don't know why I called it X. It's still Twitter to me, but you can follow me on all of them at It's Big Ron. That's at OHITSBIGRON. And make sure you're subscribed to Wait For It. We drop season 2 on September 5th, and I'm very excited for y'all to hear this season.
And we're excited to hear it. Rebecca Lavoie, how can you be found?
Follow me, because I'll be listening to Wait For It and tweeting about it at Reb Lavoie.
And you can track me on Twitter at Kevin P. Flynn. You can tweet to us at Law & Order Pod. Follow us on Instagram at These Are Their Stories Podcast, or like and subscribe on YouTube and TikTok. Our newsreader was Cy Frater. Our theme music was composed and performed by Uncanny Valleys. Content assistance from Travis Roy. Lily Flynn handles promotions. All clips in this podcast were used in compliance with the U.S. Copyrights Act fair use exemption for criticism and commentary. Go to lawandorderpodcast.com and sign up for our newsletter for a chance to be our next Law & Order Marathon winner. These Are Their Stories was recorded in Studio C and is a production of Partners in Crime Media.
Partners in Crime Media.